All right, well, there's a lot going on the other side of the country. Let's get back to Carol Master. She's at the Apple convention in San Francisco, and she has a special guest. Carol?
I do indeed, Matt. Thanks very much. I'm here with Gene Munster of Piper Jaffray. Gene, thanks so much for joining us. A long keynote, 2 hours worth. What really stood out for you?
Really came down to pricing. At the end of the day, Apple's going hard for market share, both on the Mac side, the portable Mac side, and on the iPhone side. And so that $99 price point on the iPhone and also the 5 to 15% price cut on the Macs, that really stood out.
Is that a sign of the environment, the economic times, or a sign of the competition that Apple's facing here?
I think two different things. I think on the Mac side, I think that's somewhat competitive to some of these lower priced netbooks that are around the $500 price points. They're trying to make them a little bit more attractive on that front. In terms of the iPhone, this is a shot really at the Palm Pre, which came out, successful launch on Friday, and I think that they're basically trying to make it very clear to consumers that the iPhone's the better of the options. If you do a Palm Pre with a mail-in rebate, it's $200, and now the iPhone at $100.
What is the better device in your view? I asked some of the software developers when they were sitting online, and when I brought up the word pre, they just booed, and they said Apple has nothing to worry about, that it's more the competition. Apple's competitors have to worry more about Palm Pre. What do you think?
The Pre is the best competitive device to the iPhone. I think when you actually see it, it's not as sturdy necessarily as the iPhone, but the experience is very similar to the iPhone. The bottom line is this, is Apple needed to do something on the price front to maintain their lead on that. Most consumers might have a hard time of distinguishing the two initially. There's a lot of apps with the iPhone, about 50,000 apps versus 18 for the Pre today, and so there's a big gap in terms of the functionality. The one way to think about it is this. The Pre is a great phone and a great mobile internet experience. The iPhone is a computer in your pocket and with all those apps. And so I think that if consumers want that, they can get it.
Gene, they spend an awful lot of time on the iPhone exclusively. At least I felt like from listening to the 2 hours. I mean, does it just show how important the iPhone is to Apple?
Exactly. It's about a third of their sales. It's their key primary growth driver over the next several years. And this price impact is significant. Last time when they lowered price by $100, they saw a doubling in the demand for the iPhone. So this $100 impact, you can conceivably see a doubling in the demand going forward.
What about what we heard in terms of MacBooks, in terms of pricing? We also heard about Snow Leopard. Anything, any surprises there, or what stood out in terms of those areas?
The MacBook, the pricing was a surprise. We weren't expecting the prices to come down, so any changes there was a surprise to us. And I guess in terms of Snow Leopard, the features were really not a lot to talk about. It's faster, but I think they named it Snow Leopard for a reason. It
was interesting to see the kind of digs they took at Microsoft. I got a lot of chuckles out of the audience, but they really kind of, made fun of Microsoft in some ways. Not surprising, considering their ad campaign that's out there?
Yeah, not surprising, and ultimately that's their biggest competitor, so it's an easy one to take a dig on.
I can't end this without asking you about Steve Jobs. There's a lot of rumor about whether or not he would show up. He certainly didn't show up. The developers, standing online earlier said, it'd be nice to see him, but it's okay if we don't. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it would have been nice to see him. We think there's a 95% chance he's back at the end of June. So at the end of the day, we're expecting him back at the end of June.
Okay. Apple, long-term, well-positioned in terms of what you're seeing from the company?
Yep. Ultimately, if you look at the street numbers, they're probably too low based on the announcements and the new pricing today. And so that should be positive for the stock going forward.
All right. Good to know. Gene, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Matt, here with Gene Munster of Piper Jaffray. Back over to you.
All right, Carol, thanks very much.